Hi all, Hal here with more Space Engineers, and I just want to show you what we've been working on because I have been doing a little bit of stuff off camera. As you can probably see, most of our panels are now active and tracking various informations, and I'll show you what I've set up here. And again, the script that I'm using for this is the M Master LCD script, which is available in the collection for all of my Space Engineer stuff. I have an active collection that I do keep up in tracking, and that is in the description of this video. Just wanted to let everybody know and give a shout out to, because I think everybody at this point knows who M Master is as far as the LCD script goes. And he's actually made some updates in the last week or so, so I want to walk you through some of the things that we can do with this script now. So we've actually added some more LCDs in here. So we now have one in the cryo room. This is our oxygen summary. It shows you all of the air vents on board the ship. Now, what I've done is I've set up specific naming for everything on the cruiser. Basically, everything on cruiser starts with the word cruiser, with the exception of the oxygen tanks. Currently, that will change in the future. I need to go through and just do a detail sweep on it, but... So as you can see, all of our vents are now active and open. They are 100% pressurized. So we have atmosphere throughout, I'd say probably 90% of the ship. The residential area, which is, funny enough, pretty much directly below us, and the bridge, which is obviously still open to space, have not been pressurized. I have not put an oxygen vent or any type of air vent in the habitation area yet. I am working on getting that sorted, and that'll probably... Actually, no, we may do that today. We may just go ahead and grab some parts, go down and throw that in there, and then seal off the entrance area, because I still have that access hatch on the side of the ship. So I may end up putting an emergency hatch in there so that if someone happens to be down there doing some work and the ship is about to explode for some reason, well, the people down there are kind of screwed anyway, because if the hyperdrives or jump drives are going to explode, it means you've got the exploding jump drive mod, and everything around you is going to die anyway. So, it's okay. But yeah, we'll definitely go down and put something in there to account for the safety of the crew. So anyway, I wanted to say happy Thursday, everybody. I wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's been hitting that like button, and wanted to welcome all of the new subscribers to the community. At the same time, wanted to thank all of the longer-term subscribers for sticking with us, and hope to see everyone around the community a bit more. And yeah, thanks. It's greatly appreciated. So I know I jump around a little bit, so all right. So all of the pleasantries out of the way. So yeah, basically you have your oxygen summary here. We have our cockpit status, and this is one of the newer features in MM Master's script. Basically, you can actually tell it to check for anything that can be occupied on whether it is an occupied status or not, and spit out a report. So just using some very basic configuration stuff, I've got it basically console 1, console 2, console 3, and console 4, or cockpit 1, 2, and 3, or 4. And it'll tell you if somebody's sitting in one. So if I go ahead and sit in here and we look up at the board, when it updates, should update here in a second, and that tells you that I am actually sitting in the chair when you get out. So the reason why it's a little slow to update is because I've got, I don't know, something like 15 different functions being run right now over 2 programming blocks. We've got one here on the cruiser, and we have one in the base. So when it's doing its refresh, it's actually checking both grids. And even though I've got it on a 1 second delay, it still takes a couple of seconds for it to update. If we were running this on a dedicated server, my understanding is that it gets a little bit better performance because you don't have to, it's not actually running all of the graphics side of things as well. But if anyone's actually had experience with this in multiplayer, let me know. I'm actually really curious to find out if it is an increase in performance on it or not. So on that note, let's move in here. So as you know, we have the 8 cryo chambers. So we've actually got them ordered by port and starboard. Port being here, obviously, starboard being over here. and it tells you if any of them are occupied. I would get in and show you, but it's, you know, you can't see the screen and you can't really look around when you're in the cryopod, so it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to see it. But it does tell you what's going on with it, and if you get somebody else in here, you'll actually be able to see these things in use. So coming over to the flight center, right, we oh, I need to program these up. I'll do that in a second here. So we have our starboard hangar docking status. Each one of the docking positions has one of the maglock cubes, and I swear I cannot remember the name of the person who built these, and I apologize. It is in the collection list. Just look for the maglock block, or the maglocks, I think it may just be called. But it is in the group. If I can remember the person's name, I will let you all know. But like I said, it's an amazing mod. It works basically like the same way that the landing gear do, where when you get something within range, you can actually dock and lock with it. So what we're going to be doing, or what I need to do, is to configure each one of these maglock blocks to turn on auto-locking. And I'll show you why, because we actually have it over here. So button 1 is your, make sure here that's right. Yeah, so okay, so yeah, the first button is your maglock block for the closest docking position. The second button toggles your docking collar on and off, or your connector on and off. Now the reason I did this is because when you dock with your ship and you are at a connector like this, even if you don't have landing gear equipped on your ship, when you hit, I believe it's P by default, it locks everything that can be locked. So your landing gear, connectors, whatever. Now, when you're going to... Oh, we've got a little bit of a system stutter here. See if it's going to keep up with us. So basically, when you're docked and locked to the ship, in order to keep people from basically messing around and, you know, blowing stuff up easily, what you do is you have these locked secure positions, and they will allow you to have a little bit better control over the ships that are in here. So if you do need to turn them off for some reason, for say like when people are doing launches, you basically have controls right here. You just turn the lock off, you turn the port off, and everybody moves on. Yeah, okay. So, and then basically that'll kill the power to both of these, which forces a disconnect. And the ship can then be, whatever you have connected can then be removed. And then we have the same setup here for the docking port 4, which is the far collar and maglock block. Now, if there is a ship attached and it is locked, this will update to show you that it's locked. I don't have any small ships nearby. Otherwise, I would demonstrate how it works. Now, this last one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. I have an idea for a security board, but I may need to change the location of this with one of the other boards. Maybe I'll do the oxygen summary over here and put the security summary over there. But basically what it'll be doing is looking at the status of all doors and all of the blast doors. So this way you'll know if they are open or closed everywhere on the ship. And I do think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take the oxygen board and drop it over here and do this as a security board. But it's going to take a little while for me to figure out exactly what I need to do command-wise to get it all in there and to normalize the names enough to have everything showing up correctly. So yeah, this is the command center though, and like I said, I'm going to have this button system over here mirroring what's over there on the port side for the two starboard-based connectors as well. All right. So since we have this thing under pressure, we have atmosphere throughout most of the ship. Like I said, what we're going to do is let's. Alright, so, now what is it? Is it? Yes, okay. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and close this up. So the other thing that I've put in are these. Basically, I wanted a little extra storage space, and I'm trying to decide on whether or not I'm going to put two more in, because the small ships that I currently have are big enough to actually have them one on top of each other vertically. But I'm thinking that may be a little bit much for this as it is right now. Basically, the idea is that you'll have one or two small miners, one or two small grinders, and then a welder ship. So the welder ship is the most likely to be, a medium-sized ship. So the idea is that the welder will be able to park here on one of or both of these pads. If you wanted to go with something a little bit smaller, like you wanted two small welding ships, then you could put two small welding ships, two small grinders, and two small miners, or whatever combination of ships you wanted. And when I release this to the workshop, I will have one of each of the small ships pre-built. So all you have to do is in creative mode go over, or take the blueprint for it in survival and create whatever you need to create. I am still thinking about turning this into a manufacturing bay, and the more I think about it, the more the thought really does appeal to me. Because if I put in, say, 4 of the twin welders, one in between each of these lights, what I would be able to do, and then have one on the opposing side here on the floor as well, what I would be able to do is basically mass produce ships in here. So if we put in a projector, you'd be able to basically create the ships right here. So I may just do that. So the only thing you'll actually have to do is get the resources. Once you put the resources in the system, you just turn it on and make whatever you want to make. So we come through, as you see, we have the nice industrial lights. I'm going to start closing up some of these because apparently I have stepped into a no oxygen zone there. I'm not sure why. I know the doors are a little funky with that. So coming through to the cargo area, we now have oxygen in here. I've put a oxygen vent right here. All of these are labeled now, so you know which room is which when you're looking at the oxygen board. The upstairs area is still open, but that will change. I'm going to be putting windows in, and the system is hanging once again. So let's wait for it to catch up with us here. There we go. So what I am going to be doing, like I said, is I'm going to put windows in. That is the industrial area, so we will get there in a moment. And I'll show you what the way the windows are going to work. Because it's going to be basically the same as what you have here, overlooking what I think is going to become our actual manufacturing area, like our 3D printer space. So you'll have windows that are here. I do need to pipe in an oxygen system into this area as well. And then coming through here, we have oxygen on this side. But each of these small hallway sections will have their own air vent as well. As you can see here, we've actually got the overlook into the manufacturing and production facility, as well as our power generation systems. And then this is mirrored, this entire walkway system is mirrored on the other side of the ship. So you have, if you have a breach on one side of the ship or combat going on, you have a secondary route to get to and from things. All right. So we come down into our sealed hallway. This does have this does act as an airlock. We have the sliding doors at the top and bottom of the stairs. Coming out into the area here, you have your assembler, you have your refinery, and then you have the hallway leading back to the bow of the ship. If you come towards the center line, you have the giant window, and as you can see, everything is the heavy armor block, with the exception of the things running here in the middle. I still haven't decided if I'm going to change that or not. I may. The thing is that there's a lot of the heavy armor on the vessel already, and I'm trying to lighten it up a little bit, so I do think I'm just going to stick with the regular light armor, which has already been starting to be put in on the surface. And we will take you out there shortly to take a look at that. Right. So coming down here, this leads us down into our navigation and was the avionics. I'm going to go ahead and start, like I said, I'm going to start closing these things off behind us so that we can start to normalize everything in the ship. So you have your jump drives. These are the 6 primary jump drives, and then with the first of your gyroscope arrays, gravity generator. As you can see, we have our conveyors piped through. This is the workstation for the docking collar. So if you are attached to a station and you have somebody down here that's available, they can actually control the docking collar. Basically, they can turn this on and off, they can switch it, and they can retract or extend the boom arm. So, and now there is a second workstation that is the mirror of this one on the other side of the boom. Direct access to cargo, another air vent, so this room is also pressurized and fully capable of sustaining life. You've got the mirror of the workstation over here, and I still haven't done a color pass on this whole thing. I'm thinking that each of the workstation areas will probably be a color to identify them as such, and I will probably need to either do a custom surface map on the armor blocks, or I will need to figure out something as far as like identifying on the path, because I'd like to have some kind of, well, maybe just put some signage in or something. I may just do that. Again, a second cargo container here. And then this leads you back into where our computer bays are currently. We have 2 of the timing blocks. We have 4 programmable blocks. As you can see, only one of the timing blocks is currently working. One of the programmable blocks is already set up with the LCD panel. And I am actually going to be removing, I think, this block. And then we're going to change out that piece of conveyor pipe with a conveyor block so that we can put an air vent directly in this room as well. On this side, I'm probably just going to remove this block and put a second timing block in over here, or I should say a third timing block in. Our additional gyroscopes, and I still haven't taken the ship out for a flight since we've put all these things in, so I'm not sure how much of a benefit they are right now, but we'll see. Now, before we go any further, we want to put our helmet back on because this is currently open to void. And I do need to put a oxygen vent in here as well. Now, I actually planned ahead for this. We've got one here, and then we have a couple over here. So what I'm going to do is this oxygen generator, as well as the oxygen generator on the other side of the ship, will be where we'll have the vents. So we will have 2 vents in this room. Mainly because of the fact that it is technically the primary habitation. Yes, they don't actually do anything for you at this point other than let you sit down. But, you know. Anyway, so and then you come forward, you've got the last 4 jump drives as well as your second gravity generator. Now, I still have a lot to do on the ship, obviously. Even just on the internal finishings, I need to adjust the gravity generator so that midship is not under 2 Gs of gravity. And I am thinking about putting a gravity shield in as well, basically using a spherical gravity generator or 2. Mount it, I'm thinking probably like around midship, one favoring the bow and one favoring aft. So what it would basically be is the work areas in here. I'll show you really quickly. Because I don't want to vent the whole thing. So what I'll probably end up doing is mounting it right here above the light on this end of the stair set, and then doing the same on the other end of the ship. I don't generally use gravity shields like that, simply because of the fact that they're kind of annoying when you're doing anything on the ship. As long as everybody is strapped in, it's fine. The minute you have somebody walking around, if somebody throws the gravity generators into a defensive mode, you have people getting flung all over the place. So, but we'll see how it works out. All right, so that is most of that's actually all of the internals currently. internals currently. We will be doing some more work on the exterior of the ship coming next week. But I do think I'm going to take a small break from this build currently because, well, It has been a big build, and I have spent many, many hours on this thing already. So even with rolling back to recover from the accident, I've still had to do something about, like, I think I'm coming up on 12 or 13 hours of AFK time. Basically, I just go up, sit in the hibernation pod, and walk away for a day and just let things manufacture, because I'm just so far behind on the manufacturing process. But as you can see, we have added, we've gotten more of our thrusters in, we've closed off everything, we've sealed off all of the leaks that we had back here. You know, we've got the first level of skidding armor in place. Basically, we will have some armor blocks that we'll be going over this, or we'll be placing some blocks over these conduits, simply to give them a little bit of protection, and then the detailing and stuff that we'll be doing on the ship. So once I've gotten the rest of this portion covered, because I do have to cover basically anything that's heavy armor right now, will have a block over top of it. And then from there, we will start doing the sculpting to give us the final lines that we want for the ship. Yep. So that is the long-term and intermediate plans, as well as a little bit of short-term plans as well. That's not good. What are you doing down there? Am I not going to be able to get to you? I hate when that does that. It means I'm going to have to take out this thing just to get to that thing. That's annoying. I may just bring the welder by. Yeah, but that's the majority of the ship. And so yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one here. I want to thank you for stopping in today. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the ship. And yeah. Oh, it's been a long, long week. So anyway, I wanted to thank you all again for stopping in today and spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, I do ask that you subscribe. Not only does it help the channel to grow, but it keeps you informed when there's new things going on. And well, you know, like I say, there's always something going on around this place. What are we missing for you? No, everything's done. I have to take a look and see why you are not auto-turreting things. Oh well. So anyway, folks, I'm out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and hope to see you tomorrow during the live stream, which is at 7 p.m. U.S. Pacific time, and that will be here on YouTube. I don't know what game I'm going to do. I may do some more Space Engineers, just basically keep working on the ship a little bit, but I may jump over to one of the other games, even maybe do a little bit of Mech Warrior or something, just have some fun, blow some stuff up. Anyway, I'm out. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody.